Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have the fresh, the beautiful, the REWORK UDYR. And, we've been watching the win rates and the play rates, and the play rate, 22%, which means the people, the junglers, you are wanting to play this. However, the win rate isn't looking so good. So, in this one I decided, instead of having all of these replays where we have close games and intings and learning the champion and people trying to stumble and figure it out, why don't we find someone who knows UDYR and see if we can match the previous playstyle and how good he actually is in the hands of a savant. So we have a Grandmaster EU West 1.6 million point UDYR player, and he's going to show us exactly how it's done. He has struggled in his game, so as always, I'll leave the match history links in the description. You can go and download those repos if you're on EU West, just to observe, exactly the more struggly games. But this was after a few games, a bit of warm-up, and we're going to see exactly how things happen. Now, straight up, if we can match the previous style, but also bringing some accessibility, you're going to have a pretty good rework. Now, the runes we see on your screen at the moment, Conqueror with Revitalize and of course Shield Bash. This is the best rune set. It's the most default rune set, it's the best win rate rune set, and it synergizes the best with the new kit. So, rank 1, obviously, we're going to start off with the Q. Now remember, this cooldown, the bridge between, that starts off at a 50-second cooldown level 1, but every 5 levels, that will get a decreased cooldown all the way down to 20 seconds at level 16. So 6, 11, 16 is when that cooldown shifts. Now that's important because of the Awaken passive amplifies every single ability you have. So when you're queuing with, when you're clearing with Q early, and especially level 1 and 2 into the Grump as we go Phoenix second, you're gonna see that Volibear Chain Lightning effect, and that's the Awaken passive working on the Q. Whereas with the E, we get more movement speed, and of course we get that immunity to immobilization and disabling. Okay, you can see that? Yes, you can. Plus more movement speed. The QWR, the amplified Awaken passive of those abilities, really is simply just juicing that ability times 2, 3. It's really insane. Well, not times 2 or 3, but literally times 2 in the case of, the lifesteal here, plus a lot more healing. And he scales insanely with AP. We have AP scaling on the R, of course. Now, I've got to learn the new names properly. Wingborn Storm, spiritually Phoenix. Blazing Stampede, spiritually Bear Stearns. Iron Mantle, the Boar, spiritually the Turtle, but Rip Turtle. And obviously, we have Wildling Claw. Used to be Tiger, but now it's Wildling Claw. It's technically a bear. So, it's kind of still a claw, just a bear claw, not a tiger claw. The 4 clear as you're seeing here, you could have just watched that as well and listened. We're looking here at a pretty standard full clear. It's a little slower, I think, overall in terms of what we might be able to achieve with optimization. As we see the Kiana and the Irelia doing skill issue in the mid lane, we don't have Prio here at the moment, which is probably a bit of a problem for the Irelia, considering you've already died. We are against one of the best fiddles on EU West, Grandmaster, rank 3, so he knows how to play fiddle as well. And when you don't have that Prio, obviously the legendary Spear Shot topside, give up your crab, move on down. Typical things, right? A lot of UDYRs have in their name, no farm. No gank, only farm. Things like this. No chat, only farm, don't talk, things like this. Now, we have the Kiana killing the fiddle, so let's have a look here at our first PvP motion. Sucky from the fiddle. We're going to have the CC immune from the Awaken stance on the E, which also allows you that bonus movement speed to get into that fight. And most importantly about our Awaken passive as we go with the R, is that more ability usage gives you a 5% refund on that cooldown. So you're still looking to spam abilities, much like the old UDYR, but while you get the attack speed passive, you're not getting the movement speed passive. So using your Awaken passive on the E as you're trying to move around the map is of course very crucial. And having that CC immunity there against a fiddle is obviously always going to be great. See, bonus movement speed, off we go. Now, initially, standard stuff, right? Q into the R. We're going to do 2 points into the R, and obviously we're going to use our E so we can actually go ahead, gank, and do all the fun stuff. The ultimate skin here still looks good. I'm not a huge fan of the overall shift in aesthetic, but I've made that known, and the counterpoint that he exists in the cold. He's from the same region as Ashe. Now, I know there can be lore reasons, but anyway. Out of base here, we're going straight up for the Swifties, because we're going to start to move fast. Now, in terms of optimization, because of the amount of AP ratio scaling on the R, on the E, on the W, as well as on the passive of your Q, okay, remember that. The default Q gives you, of course, the AD scaling, but the passive Volibear aspect, the Lightning, that scales with AP much like it does on Volibear. So, Fiddle goes mid lane. Irelia is struggling here. She goes in again, misses her spells, And it looks like Kiana is just gonna do some smaller gankings onto the Aurelia, spanking, should I say. And whatever happens in this game, remember, there is a small throw moment, and Kiana only has the 42% KP by the end. So keep that in mind, all right? No matter what you see mid lane, only 42% KP, which means things are going to happen, and they're going to have to center around the Dia, the new Dia. So obviously, in this case, you're pretty used to doing a straight-up second full sequence. Obviously, we want to optimize level 6 just as much as any other champion. However, we don't really have that ultimate spike, but it will give us access to Iron Mantle should you decide to take it. At this stage, we're of course seeing the Fiddlesticks move on to the top side here. The Iron Mantle is pretty huge though. And in this game, obviously, we do want it. We're going to have here the shield that it gets granted. One of the best Fiddlesticks in EUS, by the way. We have the Phoenix here. The amped up Phoenix, the Awaken passive on the Phoenix will now slow, okay, and also stick to target. So you're going to see that a few times. That's very important to note. So if you use the Awaken passive on a target, it will chase them kind of like a Victor ult in a little bit, and does do some slows. It's 10%, not much, like an additional 10%. It already does 21%, but you know, an extra 10% on a slow is pretty strong. So here we move into the jungle. If the Fiddlesticks has been sequencing down, I know we're not talking a lot of jungle tracking at this point because, you know, obviously Fiddle shows up here going for the Gromp. You know, you're kind of chasing down the sequencing and you assume that Gromp would be down. So it isn't. It was up, but again, if you start to take this and counter jungle this, when you see him, Spear Shot's going to show up, the Aurelia's going to show up, you're going to be collapsed on, you don't have your solo lanes. It's not worth it, right? It's just worth having a little cheeky look. Now we can go back to base. And obviously we saw him here, so we know he's doing Gromp and probably going down. We're not going to talk too much about the jungling, more about the Udyr and how he plays. So the W, the Bow, Iron Mantle, this is an absolutely huge ability. Scales with HP, scales with AP, and it gives you HP back, all right? It gives you shield that scales off of HP, and when you use your passive on it, all right, you also get lifesteal, excuse me. When you use your passive on it, it doubles that to 30% lifesteal, okay? Restores even more HP and gives you even a bigger shield, which is why that Shield Bash and Revitalize are used. Specifically because we're gonna go into Wingborn Storm, and Iron Mantle, yes, second in this game, okay? There are many experimentations going on, many optimizations, many ways you can probably look to play this champion, okay? This is just what an experienced Udyr main is doing, using previously known methods of playing and trying basically to see how he plays with that original play style and see if it's viable, see if it's strong, and it is. Now, you're not always going to have a mid lane popping off like this, but at the same time, a lot of Udyrs, and I covered this on the main channel not too long ago, farming junglers specifically from Udyr's point of view. I will link that below if you're interested in this playstyle and how to do it. Spear Shot, ults in. Fiddlesticks moving on up here, sucking his Raptors and his Red, so keep your eyes on that. If you're interested in that, I will link that below because you play exactly the same way and you will have low KP early. It's about getting the KP up later on and having high CSPM. So we see this action, we decide to kite on into this, okay? And now obviously if we have our Awaken passive, you can choose exactly what to use it on. Here it would be great to use it on the Fiddlesticks, but then instead, watch this. We're very, very low, stun. We're gonna move. We have W, we use it for the shield, and now we get the lifesteal. We amplified with our Awakened Stuns, get even a bigger shield. We get stunned by the Bard ult. We're gonna have shield again, which again, it gives more lifesteal, and then you can chase on down with your E and your AoE Wingborn Storm around you. Like kind of like the old Maokai ultimate, you know, when it was just around you, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of legendary ability effects in his kit, which I think makes it significantly more interesting to me now that I watch it live in a high skill game than it did watching only or playing only on PvE. Definitely felt slower, but when you see it now with the correct usage of the E, of course, as well, it's not looking that different. Definitely updated model, definitely thicker. The passive use on the E is very important for bonus movement speed. Here we go. We're not clicking around as much because I want you guys to look at the model. Again, we hit the stun, we use our R, you're just going to keep chunking them down, and of course you can activate your Q. And remember, you get bonus movement speed when you use abilities. So you want to make sure that you're actually trying to hit people as well as move around to get that passive on low CDR as much as possible. This is a great move though. I like this. We move from mid lane, great fight, into the Raptors, but it really overcommits. So don't keep sequencing and ghosts, don't die, rotate, affect this lane. And now we see Spear Shot on the top side here. Trying to get the R on for the slow Fiddlesticks, Hex Flashes over the wall. I'm glad to see a bit more Fiddlestickses use that Hex Flash because I did cover it using Ludens and Harvest and not always defaulting to Rocket Belt, and it's hilarious how Fiddlesticks just default. I mean, sorry, default to sort of Rocket Belt, and also disliking any video that suggests there might be other builds that do more damage. It's quite funny. Anyway, this is one of the best fiddles on the EU West, building not Rocket Belt. Yes, it's the default way to go, but it's not the only way to go. And for this build, obviously, we are taking this Herald here. We do secure it. A lot of burn damage there from the Fiddlesticks, and of course we're going to get stunned here, or almost stunned by the Aurelia. Should be able to get killed. We don't have W. It is up. We're going to use it, but, you know, low HP versus Pantheon, so you're going to die. And if you want to know why, Pantheon video on my channel. However, our team might be able to clean up just a little bit here, and, yeah, just a little bit. Whee! Off he goes. So, good Herald, good little loop path by the Fiddlesticks to track this and go in on this. They are able to kill the Udyr, but at the same time, the rest of them fall and don't even get the Herald. So in most cases, if you're gonna not get the Herald, you might as well look to get something somewhere else. A little bit of counter jungling, try and get bottom lane affected a bit. Even though your bot lane is doing okay, it's kind of a neutral lane at this stage. And of course, we have the top laners trying to get involved. Really a mid-jungle battle this time. No dragon on the map. We have the Herald. We got a few minutes until the plates expire, so let's go do Udyr things. But again, I know you guys want to sequence and farm with the deer. I know that's what you want to do by default. But please keep your eyes up. Don't ostrich jungle. Look up to see what the map can provide in terms of flow. The best Udyrs are the ones that flow from point A to point B to C to D to E to F. They never just going A to B, A to B, A to B, A to B, okay? Well, the legend is mid lane. We're going to finish this red side quadrant. We can cut in here because we think, a fight for us. Right, we got 3 points in W now for reference. Here we go. Kiana ult. We get the stun there. We're slowing them and we're getting the Phoenix stuns. Really just burn damage. Just burning them down. Remember, max HP damage as well. Magic, max HP damage. Just keep on doing it. We're going to use the E there from the Pantheon, but we still get the kill. We're fleeing towards the turret, which means it's going to be a lot more difficult for us to do anything. Will our W come up in time? Yes, it does. And of course, Conqueror aids in this playstyle. That's why it's the best. Fleet Footwork is fine. 2.5 plates. Well, you know, I always say 2.5 and always shows us 3, but 2.5 plates, exactly right. Brad hit the ult. Brad hit the ult. Yeah. You don't want to use your Herald against a bird when he's awake on the map. It's not even called Awaken. It's called Bridge Between. It's just, you know, it's Awakened Spirit part of the Bridge Between. So, you know, we just call it Awaken. Can we all agree and handshake to that? So it's a little easier. Okay, good. So from that, we fall back to the blue side. In theory, you could just do your Grunt, but if you see someone low on the bottom side here, let's go. We do not have our passive. Oh, we do now because we used it on the CC immune, and now we don't have it, but that's exactly what you want to use it for. Running at people where you lose that movement speed passive from spamming abilities, right? Now it's very important that you use your actual passive when it's up on that E when you're trying to chase down champions that have slows, that have CC, that can immobilize you. So when you're chasing, make sure you use that correctly. But again, keep spamming those abilities to get the cooldown as low as possible. And remember, it goes all the way down to 20 seconds at level 16, where it will be up quite frequently for you for those team fights. So you could definitely use your W for added sustain in those fights. You can definitely use your E for added CC immunity to go in and out of those fights. And obviously use your R to get a lot of slow and a lot of burn damage, max HP damage right here when you use it in the Awakened Stuns. The Awakened Stuns, max HP, not the whole thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to mislead you. It's a lot of things. It's basically like a 6 ability champion, but at the same time, it isn't. You know, because the abilities kind of do the same thing. They just change subtly, add a little bit different numbers. And you're not really thinking about using the Q Awakened Stunts that much. Like, that's also max HP damage. If you're going full-on Wild and Claw Stunts, I'm very interested to see people go for this, actually. So when you guys are testing things out, please try this out a little bit. The on-hit damage is super good. The max HP damage is super good. You see that increases all the way to 9%. Yeah, you can see that. And the 80 scaling is pretty solid. But, you know, Titanic Hydra, things like that. Is it worth really focusing on that when you get so much from AP, so much from Demonics? And that's why this is such a damn good build. This is the same build that we were seeing on live beforehand. We are now 2 levels up. We're looking for a chase down here. Nothing happens. We're going to go tank a tower. CC immune, bonus movement speed as well. Get the stun there. Use a W shield. Obviously, we have Karma giving us even more shield, so that's most important to note. It's not purely Udyr at this stage. Now we're going to use our ultimate. We're going to keep stunning, get the stun there on the... Sorry, keep burning, and then stun the fiddle. And of course, we die, because once more, we have some giant Atreus nuts in the mid lane. So, we do die. However, 8-6 at this point, huge lead. And if you played UDYR before, you know, this guy again, 1.6 million points. There she goes. Ah! Oh, oh well. Oh well. You know, that's a reminiscent playstyle from live. It's nothing that should be new to any of you, but the numbers change, and your ability for those skirmishes in the mid lane with the lifesteal, plus the big shields, plus the shield bash, plus the revitalize, it's quite strong against these kind of comps, you know? Here we go. Brad is a little bit out of position. Samir's going to try to do something. She's going to take that. Obviously, it usually gets you stunned. She's going to force the cleanse there. The Valkos was like, hey, can I ult you? Wait a second, there's an UDYR in the way. And now you're just going to chase him down using that burn damage, tick damage by the ultimate Wingborn Storm. And now we can go to do some counter jungling. Are we going to dive again? I don't think it's going to help you there, bud. A little bit of a bonk. UDYR has no suck, but we get fleed. We have passive in 2 seconds, so we can probably use it. There you go, CC immune for bonus movement speed. Chase on down, try and get that burn damage, tick damage from the Wingborn Storm and the R. And we, of course, have another stun, and we get fleed again. Passive up in 20 seconds. Getting silenced, doesn't matter, we get the stun. And then we use our ultimate R again, excuse me, not ultimate. And that's a free kill. And now we're in a bit of a predicament, though. However, let's see how we do. Stunned, W, keeping going, using the R. Ooh! Queen's applause. You know, Wingborn Storm plus W secondary with Revitalize and Shield Bash. You get the shields, you get the heals, you get the lifesteal, you get the tick damage, you get, if you don't need to sort of amplify your Iron Mantle, you can always amplify this, and that will do magic HP damage over the duration, plus do additional slows. So it allows you to stick to people, does more damage, and now because we have Shield Bash Revitalize, plus the Iron Mantle, the ball, and plus a Karma, I think it's kind of disgusting actually. So if you have a Karma duo or anything that can kind of shield you in that capacity, Lulu will work as well. Yuumi could also work. I mean, it's ridiculous. So unfortunately for us, the UDYR Yuumi combos, they're still going to be alive. Although they did just nerf Yuumi, but I don't know. It's not removing Yuumi, so who knows? Anyway, 13-6 now, and you kind of get lost in it, and I think that's what's wonderful about this still. We're just watching him. We're not really doing jungle analysis. We're just playing our game. You know, yeah, you're thinking about the fiddle, but as long as you play your game properly, counter jungle, use that fight within you. What am I watching here? You should have no issue just getting absorbed in the game, and I think that says a lot about the rework. I'm just watching him play. I'm watching the ability swaps. I'm trying to see where he uses that awaken, excuse me, and how we're channeling it. Of course, now she goes back in. She's going to get the tick damage, and boom, she gets stunned and killed. You know, you're getting absorbed by the champion, by the abilities. You know, it's fun, and it's nice to watch. Don't know how you guys feel about it, but really, I'm just staring at him, staring at the abilities being used. The ultimate skin here looks fantastic. It's so do the other skins as well. I'm not a fan of all the splash shots. What we said, the splash shots, don't like them at all. Think they really missed the mark on the default splash shot as well. It makes him look way chunkier than he even is in the in-game model. I'm glad they give him more chest there though. We're using the CC immune there, but it's not for a long duration. Just remember that 1.5 seconds. So things like Vel'Koz will always be able to kind of deal with you, but on the low end of your passive. You thought the UDYR was going to do another tower dive. You see, this is the UDYR way, right? Stun, sucky, suck, of course. This is the UDYR way. You really want to get in their head. So they think you're going to keep doing that kind of stuff. We're channeling. Doesn't really matter at this point. Yep. We have Ghost as well the whole time. See, now you're taking a little bit too much, I think. But we'll take 2 kills. You're just doing trick 2G things. We'll tank everything and die for that turret. So, don't recommend you actually do that, all right? If you guys are in a lower elo game, please play the game properly. You know, slide into here, take all of this, take this tower, push this out. Of course, if you have enough cash monies, go back to base. You know, sequence this top side, cut in here. You can push this. You can also go bot side if there's no Baron threat or anything else. And then cut into this. You can push this out again with your team. Like, you really want to be pushing these lanes and cutting in quite a lot, and then all cutting back. But in this case, we have a Baron top side, so you know, you could easily take this, push this, take this, fall back. Got your red side as well if you need. A lot of things you can do. But if you want to really limit test, go from between two towers. And I think you can see that. One deer, two towers. Quite a lot this game. Definitely. Definitely. Just right in between them. Okay, Fiddlesticks is going. We're ulting. Our team is fighting without us. We're coming now. We have Spirit Visage. And we're going into that Stone Plate. Really, really strong, the Stone Plate. If you don't need the Frozen Heart, then you can definitely do that here. Okay, watch the Awaken passive. Alright. Don't know if we really need it too much. Yeah, we don't really need it. We're melting them anyway. And of course, boom. Volkaz. Right, Awaken 18 seconds. If we use another ability, there we go. There we go, 15 seconds. Keep track of that, but... See, the trick is, right, pun not intended, happy accident. You're watching this now, you see my eyes, I'm looking at the passive cooldown, because, you know, it's a new aspect of the kit, so you're gonna have to really put that into your muscle memory as well, to keep track of when that Awaken passive is available. Obviously, it shows up on your bar there as well, you don't need to do it, but I'm trying to track the seconds as well. But you can see it right here, okay? The white line underneath. That is obviously also important, but I like looking at the seconds as well in my mind. The visual feedback is good though, because you want to be able to see that. Boom, now we know we can use it, you know what I mean? So that's really, really huge, I think, for game design. I think they've done a very good job illustrating that to us, so we don't have to look at the seconds. But I do kind of like to know it and see that impact on it depending on the build I'm playing. Specifically, this 120 haste is great. Here we have another 10 haste. It's not the hastiest build. Obviously here we're going to get some as well. But haste is very, very good on the champion, obviously. Oh, ooh, oh, dear me, that is very unfortunate. There is not a lot of synergy with the bard and the fiddle, is there? This is not a team that has worked well together. And on the other side of the coin, like, we don't care about bot lane. Karma rotated a lot. We didn't really think too much about top lane. We just played our own game. You know, I think that's really what you want to see from this. But I do believe, and I do recommend, when you're starting out with this, please, as she will finish the game, Sunfire, Demonics. This is still good. Obviously, slow resist against that particular team comp. You can go Merc Threads as well, but I think Swifties is going to be pretty good to amp up the movement speed that we're missing from base without having the Awaken passive E. And then, of course, Demonics. And now, Spirit Visage is great. Abyssal Mask is also good. Very, very good, actually. Frozen Heart is great as well, as you need it, but they're quite heavy AP here. And obviously Stoneplate, I think, is juiced. So that's a great default build. I think it's the best build you can go ahead and try right now. Obviously flex that Frozen Heart a little bit. And the rune set, definitely try this first, and then you can sort of decide if you want to go for some approach velocity things or Booty's Cosmic. But I don't really think they're as good at all. And the win rate data does support the Shield Bash. Is absolutely broken. You're seeing the big shields here, especially in an Enchanter meta as well. When we have that W Iron Boar really juiced. It's sad for me. Oh, sorry. Let me do this for you guys very quickly, because I want you to see the final level up that we had. Okay, let's just do this. There we go. We're at 15, so we're at 6 and 6, and obviously just going for the E. Finally, this, unfortunately, in my point of view, I would have liked to see a bit more. I don't know if we needed the Volibear AP on the passive as well, because it's just making it so AP heavy and tanky heavy. It just makes this the default build as it has been for a while now. I would have liked to see a bit more utility of the AD ratios. I mean, I come from a time when Tiger Stone's Udyr would be absolutely obnoxious. You would do nothing. Dude would just run at you and kill you anywhere on the map early. Level 2, you could not handle the dear Tiger Stones. So I would like to see, this was before the 6-point rework and so on. So I would like to see a bit more support for this, but hey, maybe we'll do another video of this. Maybe there is a hidden OP Giga Qmax variant that we can think about. But the R into the W plus this build is looking to be your default best way to go initially. And keep your eyes on this account. The guy knows Udyr very well. And keep your eyes on the win rate, and I'll bring you the content as and when it happens. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Don't forget my Zarda GG guides, Warwick, Volibear, and now soon to come, Viego, Belveth, Echo, Kayn, and a whole bunch. I don't even remember, because I'm going to do every single jungle basically very, very soon over the next couple of weeks. Streaming these out hugely. So if you like my jungle companions, be ready for those. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial. And that was thank you very much for watching, spoken very quickly by a tired brain.